Hello, everybody. Welcome to today's webinar session. Today we'll be covering Lean and Six Sigma, a perfect pair for improving the quality of IT delivery. My name is Alex Mazurek with Quint, and I'll be your host today. So that's a few things about Quint before we get started. This year we celebrate our 25-year anniversary. It's a big milestone for us, but we're a completely global company. We have over 200 consultants delivering projects in 49 countries around the world. Just a few fun facts for us. We train about 30,000 professionals annually in anything from IDLE to Prince 2, COBIT, and some of the newer methodologies out there such as Lean IT and DevOps. And we are the founding members of two organizations, one being the Lean IT Association, and two also being the DevOps Agile Skills Organization. So these are the 6 key areas in which Quint helps. We help organizations organize their IT, blend technology in their business, innovate across their business ecosystems, transform to high performance in their teams, help them be smart with their data, and last off, help them digitize their products and their services.
Thank you, Alex, for the introduction. Thank you very much. And thank you, everybody, for joining us today for our webinar, Lean and Six Sigma, a perfect pair for improving the quality of IT delivery. 5 years ago, I did my Lean Six Sigma Black Belt training at the University of Amsterdam at the Department for Business and Statistics. What struck me as unusual was the fact that in the class were 15 students and I was the only IT professional there. The rest of the students were professionals from healthcare, manufacturing, financial services, and all of them had some sort of process improvement role or quality assurance, or they were just participating in the primary process of the organization. So what I'm trying to say is that you are at the beginning of the curve. Applying Lean and Six Sigma methodologies is still not the standard procedure in IT operations. It still needs to evolve and hopefully peak. But before we start, I have to share this with you to get us all in the right state of mind. We live in times of unprecedented change, and I think that every single webinar or presentation or seminar that you attended in the last year start with opening or something like this one or something similar. Nowadays, organization must be flexible, they must be responsive, and they must be adaptive more than ever before. And they must deliver new products to market quickly, create products that meet their customers' needs, and adapt them swiftly as those needs change. And of course, they all must do this very cost effectively and with highest possible quality. You probably have heard the phrase faster, better, cheaper, but pick two. So if you want to do something faster, that means that the quality will be poor. And if you want to do something with a high quality, that would mean that it can't be done fast. And in both cases, it will probably be very expensive. And this is sometimes referred to as the iron triangle. This supposedly self-evident truism is repeated with great regularity among engineers. And in my career, I heard many project and program managers, especially in IT, usually using these concepts to justify the extensive amount of time and money they needed for the huge projects. But in my opinion, and this slides proves that this is not the case anymore, because I really believe that you can have it all. You can have it and faster and better and cheaper and all at the same time. And most importantly, I really believe that you have to have it all in nowadays economy. So 2016, the State of Davos report states that the high-performing organizations are more agile. They deploy 200 times more frequently than low performers, with over 2,500 times shorter lead times. They also continue to significantly outperform low performers with 24 times faster recovery times and 3 times lower change failure rates. This is all prevalent for the IT organizations. And like this is not enough. The employees in high-performing organizations were over 2 times more likely to recommend the organization as a great place to work. Thus, faster, better, cheaper, and happier. Lean and Six Sigma, used wisely, can help you achieve exactly that: faster, better, cheaper, and happier. But before we end with this conclusion, let's have a look at the definitions of Lean and Six Sigma, what divides them and what are the commonalities, and how to make it all work in the end. So, up until the late 90s, Lean and Six Sigma were regarded as two separate methodologies that dealt with different types of business issues in terms of efficiency or effectiveness. So, this is where we actually, when we talk about efficiency and effectiveness, this is where Lean and Six Sigma come into the picture. Effectiveness is essentially how effective are we at meeting our customer needs. And with efficiency is how can I be effective at the least possible cost. So we can be effective but not efficient, and we can also be efficient but not effective, and our goal is to be the both. So the very common example is when we are efficient but not effective. Now, our product isn't really that great, but we can get it to you really quickly. Or the other way around, we have this marvelous product, but our processes are really bad, and by the time we get it out in the market, somebody else came up with something better. So this is being efficient is generally a good thing, but being efficient at doing the wrong things is not good. So this is where Lean and Six Sigma meet each other: efficiency and effectiveness. These are two business drivers that help organization in the direction of becoming a high-performing organization. So let's start actually with Lean first. I mean, there have been trillions of books written about Lean, and I don't know really where to start. It's a very big topic, so I'll try to be really short. Lean is based on Toyota production system, and the term Lean was first described as a Toyota way of working by researchers at MIT during the late 80s. And the key question they asked themselves was, what is it that they're doing at Toyota that makes them so efficient in the way they do things? That this research resulted in two kind of epical books. One was called The Machine That Changed the World, and the other is Lean Thinking. They're still, they're still kind of classic management books about Lean. So essentially, what drives Lean? Lean is a philosophy. And in that philosophy, Lean focuses on increasing the speed of flow of a process. To do this, you have to focus on removing wasteful and not value-added steps in the process from end to end. Lean assumes that once waste is removed from the process not only gets faster, it becomes focused on the customer value. And in Lean, everything is driven by customer. If customer is not happy, we are doing something wrong. So, and basically, Lean is all about continuously eliminating waste. And I decided for this webinar to really focus on three very important parts of Lean that I consider to be most important: Lean leadership, Lean principles, and Lean tools. Lean leadership is a behavior and the attitude that you're needed in an organization with an ambition to embrace Lean way of working. And in Lean organization and becoming Lean, I never talk about managers. I talk about leaders. So you have to become a Lean leader. And you become a Lean leader by applying go see, ask why, show respect. And that is, go see means you observe, you make sure that you go to the shop floor and to speak to your employees, you do the Gemba walk. You're very much involved with helping your organization by using 5 whys. You ask why, you interact with employees, you help them with the daily root cause analysis, and you show respect, you listen. It is very important, that you are respectful to your teams and that you help build your teams, you respect your people. And Lean leadership is something that it can be learned. It's not a holy grail that nobody can achieve. When we talk about Lean principles, Essentially, there are 5 guiding principles of Lean: customer value, value stream, flow, pool, and perfection. Value is determined by the customer and represents the demand that the customer has in relation to the product or service provided. The second one is value stream. Value is created by means of a value stream. And this is a process triggered by the customer, and it aims to deliver the desired level of value in the shortest possible time. The third is flow. Value stream, that is by a streamlining process, so by creating flow. This implies that the activities must follow each other with the fewer possible interruptions. And the idea is, the fourth one is pooled. So the idea is that the customer is able to obtain the desired level of value on demand. So the value stream starts when an order is placed at the value level. This is the essence of pool. And finally, the Lean is all about striving for perfection. Perfection is basically another way of focusing on continuous improvement of the ability to deliver value. And as I already said, Lean fights waste. And in Lean, waste is the root cause of all unprofitable activities within your organization. And definition of waste is, there are many, but it's a process. In a process is any activity that does not result in moving the process closer to the final output or adding value to the final output. In Lean, we identify 8 types of waste. I'm not going to elaborate on each. I'm just going to name them. Those are transportation, inventory, motion, waiting time, overprocessing, overproduction, defects and rework, and use human creativity and potential. In IT organization, I came across many kinds of waste, but the most common one in IT organization are waiting times, overprocessing, rework. Definitely those 3. And in some organization also unused human creativity and potential. So bottom line is Lean fights waste. That is the most important message I want to get across here. There are many tools and concepts that Lean companies employ to support Lean principles and to eliminate waste. Here the most critical ones, I mean, the voice of the customer is one of them. I'm not going to really go into the great detail about the tools, but the bottom line is there are many tools. Then there are many more tools than what you can use in an organization. But they have always, depending on the situation, very important place. So mostly in Lean transformations, in Lean methodology, the mostly common tools are most often used tools are voice of the customer and critical to quality analysis, SIPOC analysis, visual management, Lean leadership assessment, then performance quick scan. Very often when we start with Lean Six Sigma or in IT organization, we always do the performance scan. We always do the voice of the customer first. We set up a visual management, and then we start from there. Then you kind of slowly introduce more and more tools depending on the need and the situation you see. For me, it's the advice here, and what I always say is, do not overtool the organization. Especially don't overtool the IT organization, and use the common sense. So that was Lean. But what is Six Sigma? Six Sigma is a methodology introduced by the Motorola in the late 70s, and similar to Lean, Six Sigma focuses on the customer requirements, but looks at the frequency of non-conformance to specified requirements at each stage of the process. The focus of the methodology is the reduction of variation within the process. And in order to reduce the variation, Six Sigma use statistical analysis tools. And you know, Six Sigma is many things. It is a statistic, it is a set of tools, it is a problem-solving technique, but it's likely also a management philosophy. The term sigma is used to designate the distribution or spread about the mean of any process or procedure. For a process, the sigma capability is a metric that indicates how well that process is performing. The higher the sigma capability, the better. So the sigma capability measures the capability of the process to produce defect-free output. And so when we speak Six Sigma, we mean 3.4 defects per 1 million of output, 1 million products, 1 million opportunities. So when you look at Six Sigma levels, so we have a Sigma 1, 2 until 6 levels. So Six Sigma level is 3.4. Most of the companies actually, so when we look at the performance of the companies, Six Sigma 5 and 6, we call them world class. I don't think that there are that many companies in this category. Most of the companies have an industry average, which is Six Sigma 3 and 4. So Six Sigma at level 4 means that you will be producing products at the rate of 6,200 defectives for every 1 million you produce. And then you have low performer, which are actually on Six Sigma level 1 and 2. So let's do the little exercise. We are all conditioned that 99% is something really good. And it's a classical view of the world. This is an example that I actually borrowed from somebody else, but it's very, very cool. And it's you know, if you define a world-class company as the one that gets it at 99.38%, so Six Sigma level 4, and that company is airline, would you fly on that airline company? And you know, if you have to go to the, let's say, to the business trip, and you know that there's a chance of 0.62% that you will not arrive safely at your destination. So the question is that bad? And if it's bad, how bad is it? And would you fly on this plane? And you know, 0.6, it's not that big. But Six Sigma look at the data differently. It does different analysis and then draws conclusions that are really frightening, actually. So when you look at in 2008, the FAA reported 13.5 million commercial flights in the US in that year. If you apply 0.62% to the number, essentially what that means is that 230 flights per day will not arrive safely. So they will crash probably. So if you translate not arriving safely as crashing, that would mean that every given day there will be 230 airplanes crashing, which is essentially just under 10 per hour or 1 every 6 minutes. So if you saw that, you know, if you realize that, would you be really willing to fly on the plane? And that has a chance, you know, that in general has a chance of crashing every 6 minutes. And the thing is, you know, if you're not willing to fly on the plane, would you be willing to? Why are you willing to run your company based on 99.38% accuracy? And this example for me is really the essence of what Six Sigma brings into all the improvement initiatives that are there regarding lean. So I'm not going to elaborate here very much, but this is also yet another overview and comparison between the classic view and Six Sigma view of the world. So if you look at the example of incorrect surgical operations, if you're 99.38% good, that would mean that 5,000 incorrect operations per week. And if you apply Six Sigma, that would mean 1.7 incorrect surgical operations per week. And you know, what is motivation of doing this? Basically, a defect-free world. And you can ask yourself, why should I do this? I would say it saves money, it saves effort, it saves time, and in many cases it saves environment, it saves lives. That's why. Six Sigma tools are similar to lean tools. But Six Sigma experts use more quantitative tools and more statistical analysis tools than what I see with experts that are very much focused on lean. And one of the most important things about Six Sigma that really uses very much very strict and rigid way of working, and those are these 5 steps: define, measure, analyze, improve, and control. And each of these steps has a set of tools which are, I think, for 80% similar to the tools I just showed you when I talked about lean. And but I think the very important difference, or a very important characteristic of Six Sigma is the rigidness when it comes to following the very, very strict process steps and really focusing on data, gathering data and using data and analyzing data. So basically, I elaborated on effectiveness and efficiency, I elaborated on Lean and Six Sigma, and then I try to really sum it up. What are actually the differences between Lean and Six Sigma? In my in my projects in the last couple of years, I really noticed that the difference between Lean and Six Sigma lies in actually in who do you affect in the organization. Very often, Lean is very much uses all the employees and make sure that everybody is cross-trained in lean methodology, so that employees and leaders, management speak the same language, and that there is a creation of movement. While Six Sigma is mostly about a select group of trained Six Sigma experts, black belts and green belts. Lean focuses on value and trust, while Six Sigma focuses very much on metrics and gathering data. So that's why I say the Lean is more actually bottom-up approach, while Six Sigma is very much top-down approach. We choose a systematic approach in the MAT with exact defined phases. And you know, Lean is applied to the entire, especially in IT organization, to the entire organization, while very often it can be that in Six Sigma there is just a few, you know, black belts, sponsor of the initiative, and some important stakeholders, and they do their work really well, but it's planned in isolation, I would call it. And you know, I have one question: really, does it really matter what the difference is between Lean and Six Sigma? Honestly, when I was preparing for this webinar, I had to work really hard to separate Lean and Six Sigma in my head and to treat them as separate methodologies. In my daily work, I use them interchangeably without even noticing it. And truly, when we combine Lean and Six Sigma, we get something really, really powerful. And so I could conclude they are an extremely powerful combination. And I don't think that Lean exists nowadays without Six Sigma and the other way around. And as Lean Six Sigma black belt, I had my fair share of experience with both methodologies, and I always thought of them as powerful combination that work so well as a whole. But you know, it was not always like that. You know, Lean enthusiasts were pointing out that Six Sigma pays little attention to speed and flow, and the other way around was the Six Sigma supporters pointed out that Lean fails to address a key concept like quality and variation. But you know, the great thing about both methodologies is that they're a mix of fabulous tools. At the end of the day, it's all about the change of behavior, focus on the aim to deliver more customer value. And what we found out in the IT organizations is that very often, you know, I may say something wrong, but they very often benefit more from Lean approach than from Six Sigma, because I also noticed that very often there is no need in IT organization to do extensive Six Sigma statistical analysis of inputs and outputs of IT processes. You can do a lot of number crunching by using relatively more simple analysis tools in order to find out if process is doing well or not. So basically, Lean and Six Sigma are complementary. My advice is don't overload everybody with analysis and analysis tools that they don't understand. Don't get hung up on the methodologies. Focus on the goals you're trying to achieve, and involve Lean and Six Sigma experts in telling you what the best tools are and what the best ways are to get the job done. And last but not least, I couldn't really spare you from this. This is my clickbait title. 6 most common excuses organizations use to avoid Lean Six Sigma. The first one, Lean Six Sigma is relevant only if you are manufacturing. Wrong. There are many companies, AT&T, the Coca-Cola company, Starbucks, Walmart, Google, all use Six Sigma, Lean Six Sigma. So that's a bad reason. Sometimes I hear companies saying never heard of it, which really surprised me. You need to Google it, you will find it, and you can contact us as well. But this is the there's so many books written about Lean Six Sigma. You can find your information everywhere. The specifics of Lean within IT organization, that is more difficult to find, but there are ways. So the third I already emphasized, that it involves lots of statistics, and therefore is perceived as too advanced. Yeah, this is true, but you don't have to use all of these statistics. You can use so many Lean Six Sigma tools. Like one of them is set of new pair of eyes to identify waste. To ask 5 times whys, why, to really do the root cause analysis, to identify bottlenecks with doing the value stream mapping, to challenge your team, to step up, there's so many ways in a Lean and Six Sigma toolbox you can use without really having to be whiz in statistics and mathematics. Perception of being too small for Lean Six Sigma program, also wrong, because you can't be, you're not too big or too small to do voice of the customer or to improve your, to follow the make steps in root cause analysis to get the root cause of the bottlenecks in your process. Now, the fifth one is tried Lean Six Sigma years ago and it didn't work out. You have to ask yourself, why didn't you achieve success? Was it related to people, process, technology? Was the leadership involved? Did we have a right story? Did we articulate correctly the vision and the why? What did we want to achieve? I mean, there's so many reasons why things fail, but there are also as many reasons why things succeed. So I would focus on the positives. And some organizations are doing only Lean because Six Sigma is regarded as too advanced. And here's my view of the world. I don't think that there is any more Lean without Six Sigma or the other way around. They are interchangeable, and you don't want to have only strictly to be efficient. You want to be effective. It's all about striving to doing things right the first time and quickly. And you, if you combine efficiency and effectiveness, you'll get fabulous results. And you'll be on your way to becoming a high-performing IT organization. Thank you very much.
You did a great job, Dragana. Thank you so much for joining us today. We do have a few questions that did come in over the course of the webinar, so we'll go in and start right off with the first one, which is, does it make sense to start with Six Sigma or Lean, or does it not matter?
In my opinion, it doesn't really matter. As I said before, you need to start, because the benefits of I would never separate them. benefit is exactly in combination of two, because you do need lean to create a movement, to create a continuous improving culture within your organization. But at the same time, everything you do, you have to do it based on the facts and on the analysis. And I see also, like what I see in lean, and in a Six Sigma, there lean follows also in Kaizen. In a problem-solving technique called Kaizen, it follows 5 steps of the make. And it's, define, measure, analyze, implement, control, measure and analyze. Very often, the Six Sigma tools are used. So honestly, I would not bother separating them. I would call it one thing and cherry pick the best things from both methodologies. And the second thing, what I would like to emphasize on is, if you create a pool of Lean Six Sigma black belts, that's a very good thing for your organization. But think twice. Think also about sustainability. And one organization can't be sustainably lean and have a sustainably, continuously improving culture if you don't educate and train your shop floor employees. So you have to try to create a movement within your organization. Did I answer the question?
Yeah, I think you did. The next question I have for you, Dragana, is do you have any examples of what could be a Six Sigma project in IT that someone could take up?
Oh, that's a very good question. You see, very often when you talk about idle processes and when you talk about incidents and changes, I would say, analyzing the analysis you do when you want to see what is the what is the recovery from failure rate, or I see now, or when you want to see after you implement a change, how often ends up in a failure. So these are the things that you can really do the analysis and see, are there any root cause, what is causing it, what is causing this change to fail, or what is causing this incident to appear, and how can we, and very often, if it happens very often, there must be something causing it, and you have to do, identify it as a problem and do the root cause analysis. And in this situation, if you have a data of a significant period of time, then you could apply Six Sigma tools in quantitative analysis. But it's also, if you have a MATLAB or Minitab, all these statistical analysis tools, which you can fill up with data and then can do the magic.
Okay. And if we don't have any other questions coming, we'll make this the last one today, Dragana. And this is, I see tools out there for Lean and Six Sigma. Do I have to use all the tools?
Absolutely not. You have to use the most important tool, and that is the common sense. And then, based on the, what you want to achieve, based on the goal that you want to achieve, then you see, okay, and based on the type of problem, if you have to do the root cause analysis, then you select the tool you need in order to do, to get the problem solved, or to get to have a next step in a change management, that cultural aspect of the organization when you're implementing Lean. But please do not start with Lean Six Sigma and have a list of 50 tools and then start pumping them into the organization. That will have quite the opposite effect, and not something that you want to have, and it's a short lead times, high quality, happy customer, happy employees, and no waste.
Gotcha. All right. Well, that looks like that's going to do it for the questions, Dragana. So we'll go ahead and wrap up everything for everybody today. Thank you so much for your interest. We hope we got some good information out of it. And, we covered as much as we could with Lean and Six Sigma, and with how it accumulates into Lean IT in general, and how it works for IT departments. We'd be glad to talk to you. And I know Dragana, she didn't go as in depth as she definitely could have on this Lean and Six Sigma subject today. But feel free to reach out. I know she'd love to chat about that with you if you'd like to go a little bit more in depth. And if you'd like to learn how Lean is applied to IT departments, Quinn has been doing this, for quite a while now. We've helped do this in some large insurance companies' IT departments here in the U.S., computer software companies as well, and and helping them get some great success. If you'd like to learn more, please let us know. Thank you, everybody, for joining today. Have a fantastic day wherever you are around the world.
Thank you.